So for me, Mikel Arteta is the top of the managerial tree at the moment. What he's built over, let's be honest though first, over a number of years, it's taken some time, but squad profiling, simple tactic, but effective tactic, players that are grafting hard, out of possession, super important for a winning team. He's built a winning team, I think, this year. It's not the most exciting. We have built it in FM with a really good defensive structure as well. As you can see, we've got this kind of 4-2-4, 4-4-2 out of possession with the two, what you would class as the two strikers out of possession, not in the striking positions. And then there's this guy here. The one role, the one position that I've kind of struggled with so far is just trying to get a role that suits him. And we're going to talk about that in today's video. We're going to go through the tactic. I'm going to show you some goals as well. And we're going to briefly kind of discuss why, like, Eze is playing there. Why Zubimendi is maybe a DLP and maybe not a halfback, because he does a little bit of both. And yeah, as always, the tactic will be available for the Patreons. Link down in the description. I think there's like nearly 200 members in there now supporting the channel that way, which is absolutely incredible. It's getting to the point where this is serious shit now for me, so I absolutely appreciate every single one of you. But if you're not interested in becoming a patron, don't worry. At the end of the video, we'll go through all the player roles, team instructions for in and out of possession, so you can build an Arteta-style team in Football Manager. Let's go. So, generally, in possession, we're looking at a few things. A couple of rule tweaks, and I think you can do this yourselves. The one thing that I'm going to talk about is kind of Zubimendi. In some of the highlights I'm going to show you in a minute, we have him as a halfback. And I've just found the halfback, and this is the thing, a lot of these roles are not necessarily what I see in real life when I've done a lot of watching of Arsenal over the last 2 days, but more of what the game is kind of doing to some of these roles, and in particular the halfback. Now for me, FM24, when it was a halfback, you know, we're expecting him to drop into here, help with build-up, does that in FM26, no problem, but he stays there. It's really odd that in possession he kind of goes in. Like, we want you want the halfback to drop in possession, play out, help progress the ball up the pitch. That's the real reason why, you know, the main reason, should I say, why the halfback is there, to drop in, split the centre halves, and you can get an overload, maybe a 3v2 if teams are pressing in maybe a 4-4-2. So that bit's fine, but then as the ball progresses, does it actually do it in the visualizer? Yeah, look, he's there. It's a weird one. Like, for me, once the halfbacks help with progression, like in FM20, you've want him moving up. Now, I'm not talking like in here, just in there, in that single pivot, so he's in a little bit more of a position to help recycle the ball further up the pitch. So that's an issue, and there'll be times, by the way, that'll become really useful. Now, when we've played the big teams, we have used the halfback, but today we're playing Brentford, we're going to use a DLP. Eze is another one. Like, it looks a little bit weird with the offset. I'm thinking Martin Odegaard as well, who likes to play in this AP. I'm just finding the centre midfield, attacking midfield role way too high. Way too high. So I'm just dropping him back a little bit. Check out the playmaking video where I kind of show you the issues. I'm probably going to do a big video on this because it's driving me insane. Things like the free roll, advanced playmaker are just too high. Even in build-up, are getting too high. So that's why we've dropped him into central midfield, because we want him to be on the ball, in between lines, in between players and defensive midfield, in between maybe wide midfielders and centre midfielders, finding these little gaps, these half spaces, and we don't see it as much when he goes in there. Everything else is, I think, is pretty standard. In possession, I still like to kind of press in this 4-4-2, 4-2-4 at times, but what we're trying to do is, often Arsenal will sit off the centre-backs and just have a line of 4 in front and try and force teams into play. And they don't over-press. They don't press goalies or really work, you know, when they're setting up. He likes to be compact, extremely compact. And I think this gives us, the defensive record, by the way, shows, I'll show you the results in a minute, kind of shows us that it's working extremely well. They're going to sit off kind of, hopefully we might see it. I said more we're focused on the in position. The out position is a little bit more simple. It'll work fine. But we're after those two, Gyökeres there and Eze there, just sat sometimes in front of the number 6s. I would love to do like, not man marking, because I always think if I set man marking, they're going to stand behind the CDMs, double pivot. But what I want them to do is to use their cover shadows where they stand in front of people to stop passes going in. And we can't get that, unfortunately, yet. In FM, I will put a thing in for FM27. I think we're a long way off. So we're going to go with that. We've kind of got a nice balance. I want the fullbacks to be aggressive because what they do is sometimes they allow balls to come in here into midfielders and then people press. I'm decided to have Rice pressing. Zubimendi's not an amazing presser, so I've just tried to balance it up a little bit there. One presser, one sitter, two pressing fullbacks. The wingers working extremely hard, tracking back and helping out, coming in back into maybe a low midfield block. And yeah, that's what we've got. So far this season, as I said, we have been sensational. We started the season with a 3-0 win over Burnley, followed by a 6-0 win over West Ham. It was 6-0 at half-time. I'm going to show you them goals in a minute, see if we can pick up anything. 0-0 Chelsea, a little bit disappointing. 0-0 Man City. I was very pleased with the performance. Look what we restricted Manchester City to. Absolutely nothing. Look at our XG. We should have won the game. We played exceptionally well, which was a little bit gutting, but then we've responded well. Fenerbahce, we finally conceded a goal. Man United 2-0. Once again, look at that. They've had more of the ball. Look at that XG against Manchester United. Absolutely superb. And then we've just battered Shrewsbury Town in the Carabao Cup. Now, one thing I forgot to go into a little bit more detail in is the role of this man here that we just can't get right. I'm finding, so what Calafiori does, he'll often come into here and he'll play in here. No problem. But the role has changed slightly because so this would have been what the inverted, I presumed it would be more of the inverted wing back on attack, and that's a role that we've not got in FM, the attack role, because if you think about the inverted wing back, it had it on defend, support and attack. On defend, it would sit in quite deep. Support, it would go into this middle area, and then the attack version, I used it for my Ange Postecoglou for FM24, where you would get your inverters going in here. Now Calafiori does a little bit of everything. He goes in there. And no matter what I've tried to do, I've even put it on wing back at times, tried to alter the instructions, like if we go in here, wing back stays wide, super frustrating because I don't know if it's a bug or not, I don't know, but once you go into the player instructions, there is an opportunity to sit narrower, but he doesn't do it. He goes too wide, so it's a really tricky one to do. And I said, this playmaking wing back just sits in here and he doesn't do that underlapping run. So we're going to change it a little bit for today's game. We're actually going to move him up one. Is there anything else in there? Like, I'm going to put forward runs in and see if we get that. Run from position is on. See if that now gets him. Yes, helping him there at times, but not necessarily over needed. I would love him to go in there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We'll see how we get on. Now, the most convincing performance was the first half against West Ham. Let me just have a sip of the Coke. By the way, let me know in the comments. Full fat Coke, McDonald's. Is there a better drink? Soft drink? Let me know. Oh, so good. As you could see, Saka and Eze are working extremely well together. So we've got Eze as that AP. We've got Saka as a winger. Couple of player instructions on Saka, obviously. So here's Calafiori with the throw, the opening goal. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is where I want Eze. And as I said, sometimes I find the AP free roll in particular would get in the box and end up being more of a second striker. We don't want that from Eze. We want him being that connecting pass. We don't want him to be too high because he's not going to be able to put those little passes in. Second goal, they've just started from a free kick, might be another offside from here. They've played it out. We're nice and compact. Look, two strikers. Cam's just sitting off. Got our pressing fullbacks. Ball goes into the goalie. Right, watch Zubimendi. Straight away, look. So he's playing as a half-back here, guys. So straight away, moves in to build. I don't mind it. And we play. Just watch his movement, though. So as the ball progresses, once again, look at Eze. Absolutely superb. Just where you want him. I don't want him in here. Where's Zubimendi? All the way back there. Because the other centre-half's getting involved. Now, I can kind of understand it. And I think what's happening in the match engine is because he's playing as a half-back, it's allowing Saliba to get further forward. And what we'll do is we're going to play in the game against Brentford. We're going to play Zubimendi as a DLP. And then we're going to play Saliba as he is. And we'll just see how often Saliba actually does this. Because he naturally should stay back if Zubimendi's... See, I want Zubimendi in here. Because let's just say there's a loss of possession now. There. Right where Saka is. Sorry, I sound like Gary Neville there. There. If the ball then goes into Ward-Prowse, Souček, Bowen even, there's a whole load of space in here to exploit. So really, I want Saliba going back. He doesn't need to go in here because we've got Timber supporting. Let's get Zubimendi right in front of there, right in that where I'm pointing with the arrow, right in there. So that's what we're going to try. We actually score a goal, so it's not the end of the world. Eze backing up the play superbly. Lovely touch, cutting in. Oh, I thought it was going to score. We're getting it back. Let's see where we go. So Zubimendi again. To Timber. We just got Timber as a fullback support. It's a lovely ball. There we go. Once again, connecting passes from Eze in the central midfield rather than being that attacking midfielder. I said, check out the Bayern Munich video that I did about their tactic and the issues that we were trying to get with Harry Kane playing as a false nine, a DLF, a free roll, the issues that we've had with it. I'd love to know as well down in the comments if you're playing with an advanced, sort of like a number 10 at the moment. Don't look at the numbers, because if you're playing a shadow striker and you're battering teams, he's going to score lots of goals. But I would just love it if you're playing with an AP, just have a look at positions like in possession. So for me now, he's quite high. Even as a central midfielder AP, he's quite high. Now, he drops in a little. He did drop in. So I prefer that. See, for me here, really, I want him in here. He should be in there for me. I just thought putting him on as a midfield playmaker would be a little bit too restrictive. So yeah, just check what your cam does. If you're playing as an AP as a number 10, just watch how high he gets, because you want him, especially an AP, the idea is that he's the connector. He's that final pass, a through ball. You know, I'm thinking of 4-4-2 diamond, two strikers running into the channels maybe, and he's like the old school maybe in Gaunch where they just sit and kind of play. Don't get over high. You know, you don't expect your advanced playmaker to get too high. There he is. Right, we're going to get a cheeky press for the next goal. So there's our line of four. Rodriguez coming in to help. So we have got press on. It's just awful. Awful. Lovely touch from Gyökeres though. And we're in. So decent press. The match engine still doesn't look pretty at times because the defender kind of stopped. But the press is set up to get the ball back, but not overly aggressive. We're going to put a couple of player instructions on, some of the opposition instructions on at the end as well. So that's giving you a little insight to what we've got. We're going to now go into the game against, Brentford. We're going to start like that. I don't see a need to change anything. As said, the real one that we're looking at today is the movement of Zubimendi, the Eze, and the Calafiori. Towards the end of the game as well, we might even just put Eze up a little bit and play more of a 4-2-3-1 and see if you can see the things that I've been seeing and see if we can get it going in the game. So we may do that for the last half an hour. Let's have a good first hour, please, the Gunners. Right, so straight away, Calafiori. A little bit better. So this is a little bit of an issue. For me here, I would prefer Calafiori to be a little bit wider. So that's a little bit of not an issue. Do we really want to bring, and it look like that? We'll leave it for now. And see how we go. Obviously, I've not seen Calafiori because it's the first time that I've put Calafiori in this position. It's the final task to see if I can get this working and have it as what we would in FM24 terms call it an inverted wing back on attack. Okay, right. So we're going to start with build up. Zubimendi there. So he still drops in, look. I'm quite happy with that. Are we going? So I'm going to play out. So he kind of does sit in. He sits in a little bit. I think at times there as well, David Raya. So I'm quite happy with that. But this is what we want from Zubimendi now, moving into these areas. That's where we want him. We don't want him there. Now the ball's progressed and we've got through the first line. We don't need him in a 3 here, for me. Eze is in a superb spot to connect the play. You know, you want your AP to be the chief creator, but the connector. This is great play. So we have a little combination down this left-hand side. Madueke gets in. He's starting on this left for us. Calafiori's here. Zubimendi, look where it is now. So remember that highlight against West Ham when we progress the ball. If I just bring it back a touch, of course, you've got to press play. So if I slow it down and stop it now, what we wanted to create, remember we said William Saliba on that far side was pushing too far forward. As you can see now, they've both kept their shape. And now we've got Zubimendi in that hole. Because if he wasn't there and Jensen picks up the ball, they've got the opportunity to counter because there's no one around him. So that's better. We've seen the DLP drop in a little bit, which is good. Not as perfect as what halfback is. Rice Calafiori. So look at Calafiori's little movements as well, because he's going to eventually get a shot off, boys. Lovely interchanging as well. This is what I like from Eze, because he doesn't stay high. Comes in towards the ball, up, pops it off. Lovely football. I think Calafiori should score. I think Calafiori, to be fair. Look at that space that's now been created for him. Oh, it's a good strike. It's a good save. I love this from us as well. Do you remember the game? Oh, jeez, I'm not an Arsenal fan. Do you remember the game against Burnley when they're 3-0 up with like a minute to go and everyone charges back? By the way, Football Manager, sort your set piece coach. We've got the best set piece coach in the league, apparently. Right, watch. So Shada's going to get it. But then watch. I can't claim anything apart from I can't. But it's brilliant to see that we're getting back. At this point, we've now got, if I stop it there, they've got 2 in the box. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outfield players in the box, which is pretty good. We ended up winning it twice. Zubimendi's in a lovely position, and now we're off. Look, we're attacking, we're counter-attacking. Can't really claim the tracking wingers potentially. The tracking wingers will help with that and getting players and back into position. Right, we've just got a wonderful goal. Eze, the goal scorer. So there he is. I'm quite happy with that, even though he's a little touch high now, but he drops in. And I don't know, we'll see in the second half. I don't know if that's more of a central midfield thing. It's a lovely ball from Declan Rice. He's now in, a little bit of a third man run kind of move there and gets in and scores. He starts a little bit high, but then he drops in. Instead of half, I'm going to do it at half time because I think what we're seeing in game now is brilliant. My other thing as well is, here, I would love to, like, we've got Calafiori as a wing back, not a full back, and we've got him as a playmaker with more forward runs. And at the moment, I don't know, it feels like he's getting a little bit prohibited, maybe, because of the movement of Declan Rice. So I'm just thinking, could we perhaps change the shape up a little bit? I've got an idea of what potentially we could do. Tell you what, let's do it now, because we've seen enough, we're doing well. My thought is I want to see keep Eze there as an AP. What about if we do that? And that means that Declan Rice is just... Now, what I'm actually going to do is look at Declan Rice's heat map. So he favours the left side. So that's why I've got him on that side. I was just double checking. I thought, oh, maybe we could get away with playing him on the right. But that's what he is. He's on that left-hand side. Right. Let's go with that for a little bit. And then maybe last half an hour, we'll then look at the Eze. We'll try and see that role as him playing as that AP as a number 10 and see if we see what I've been seeing over the last, pretty much since the games began, since I did a save with Cagliari a few weeks ago. So now, because we've got Rice a little bit further up, we've just won possession, it's gone into Rice and he's played it into Gyökeres. He's now got this area here, hopefully, to move into. So that's better. They're still a little bit similar. Look, it's never going to be right. But I don't mind it. That could be potentially the way to go. We're kind of missing Zubimendi from the middle, but because he's a DLP and Rice is a box-to-box, we still hopefully will see Zubimendi going in nice and central. So I would say it's more of a 4-3-3 rather than a 4-2-3-1. We're now going to put Eze up there. Okay, so we've got more of a 4-2-3-1. Let's just see how it looks and see if we can see the issues that I sometimes get. It may be that it's more of the free roll. I did notice it a little bit with the AP, and I watched Tony Jameson's stream last night. He was playing with an AP, and at times, don't always get high, but for me, it was just getting too high on a regular basis. And he was playing with an AP behind 2 strikers as well. And if you think, if there's 2 strikers there, really the AP doesn't need to move into that striking area because there's already 2 strikers there. So we're going to watch him. He's our guy. That's not too bad. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. Gyökeres is in. Oh, no, he's offside. That was a good start from Eze, though. Would he be able to do that as that AP in the CM? Probably. See here, look now. He's going as a central striker. If we just bring it back, let me just play it in. Let me go back 10. So here he's he goes a little bit high, stays high, and then goes onto that attacking line. Look, that's very much like a attacking midfielder. He's got a shot off, but very much like an attacking midfielder, kind of shadow striker, almost kind of run. Okay, so that was the game. We're now going to go through the team instructions. For me personally, this is going to be the version for the Patreons, the version that you can download. Out of possession, we've not had to tweak a single thing, which is good. I said, then it's up to you. You might prefer Eze to be a lot higher and be more of that, kind of real high AP, which for me just means he's not going to get as much touches of the ball. Right, let's go. Ball playing goalkeeper. Timber, fullback, no playing instructions. Saliba and Gabriel, both ball playing centre backs. If you're playing with a half back, I would ask them to dribble more because you're going to have that 3 build up with Zubimendi in the middle. If they're playing with maybe a 4-5-1, get your 2 wider centre backs to kind of drive into sort of like these areas with the ball. So that's something that I've not had it on because we're really happy with that Zubimendi role. Box to box for Rice. Calafiori, that playmaking wing back, try and sit narrower. That one's hard coded on. Run from positions already on. Make more forward runs. Said it's not perfect. It's not perfect. They're going to cross over a little bit. I wouldn't have Rice as anything else as well to try and cover and get that. We'll just hope that they don't always get in between. Just tweak. We're always tweaking and looking. Eze, AP, and then with Eze in the playing instructions, dribble more. Saka on the right, winger, because I want him to have the ball at feet more. Stay wider though, keep that width because we're not going to get loads of it from Timber. Shoot more often, cut inside with the ball, dribble more. So he comes, stays wide, drifts in. Madueke, the left side, they're crying out for Semenyo. Semenyo on this side, left-hand side in the summer. In the January would be perfect. Madueke, we've just got wide forward, just somebody who's going to attack the box a little bit more of a in-behind kind of player. Martinelli on a good day. And then Gyökeres, channel forward, a little bit underappreciated at the moment. I think his injury's not helped, but I do like him. I do like the movements he makes, the effort that he gives for the team without the ball. In possession, team instructions, we are looking like this. Short passing, higher tempo. In the big games, Chelsea, Man United and Man City, we just had it on standard. Time wasting the standard, attacking width wider, play for set pieces, both flanks underlaps, play through the press with short goal kick distribution, pass to feet, working to the box, discourage shooting from distance because I just see too much of that. Low crosses, so we're looking for cutbacks, and that is that. Out of possession, as always, I think the idea and the secret to out of possession is, guys, to keep it nice and simple. Don't overdo it. So what we've got here is goalkeeper, really for Raya though, to be fair, that should be sweeper keeper. 2 pressing fullbacks in Calafiori and Timber. 2 centre-backs in Saliba and Gabriel, 1 presser, 1 screener in the middle, 2 attacking midfielders for the 2 10s or 2 false 9s. I wasn't too happy with some of the shape. I think what you could do, like Brentford played as a 3 there, and I would probably get with 2 sitters. So there's way around it where you could maybe have them pressing as a 3 and maybe get Eze man marking one of the 10s, something like that. Get Saka maybe man marking the wide centre-back. Madueke man marking the other wide centre back, but I was more than happy with that. If anything, the worst you could do if they're building up with a double pivot, just get these 2. I said it's not perfect with that kind of cover shadow that we can't do in FM, but you could get them just to man mark the 2 6s, and that would cut out them little passes into here that Brentford will get in a little bit. And then your 2 trackers, if I'm not mentioned as well, your 2 trackers for your wide players, very good. The wide players at Arsenal in terms of helping out. And then into the team instructions for out of possession. Here we go. High press. Higher line, more often, counter pressing. So it's high, it's aggressive, but not over the top. Get stuck in. Balance trap. Now, for me, pick one or the other. Sometimes Arsenal press outside, sometimes they press inside and force it inside. So leave that up to you. I've just left it balanced. Get that nice compact shape. No to short distribution. Higher defensive line. Sorry, that's up twice, of course it is. Defensive behaviour, step up, being aggressive. That is the Arteta masterclass. I'm looking at doing a little mini-series Manchester United. Maybe not copying Arteta's tactic, but definitely copying his squad profiling. He's got 2 fantastic players for every position. Doesn't have to change shape, but the players give you something slightly different. So a Calafiori towards a Timber, a Calafiori gives you something different to a Miles Lewis-Skelly, and Odegaard gives you something different to Eze. Havertz gives you something different to Gyökeres. You've got Trossard, gives you something different to Martinelli, Madueke and Saka. Timber and White, Zubimendi and Declan Rice, and they've got Marino in there as well. Hincapié can do a job at left back, but hasn't been used yet. Yeah, he's built something. He needs to win that trophy though this year. Is it going to be Arsenal's year? Let me know down in the comments. Check out that Patreon. See you later.